cake. Anyone?
Kristen Maldonado here, and if you're like me, you were obsessed with the first season of The Wilds, which found us following the past and present of a group of young women who are stranded on a deserted island, and they didn't get there accidentally. The show made us fall in love with the beautifully diverse cast led by the Black, Muslim, Indigenous, and queer characters and the ups and downs that they face. Surviving on an island with a bunch of strangers may be hard, but the flashbacks prove that living life as a teenage girl in today's society can be just as difficult and traumatic. Us ladies deal with a lot. I'm still not over that shocking cliffhanger that, spoiler alert, the girls were not alone. There was a whole other group of guys, known as the Twilight of Adam, that were stuck on another island, in another social experiment led by Dr. Gretchen Klein. And that's exactly where we pick off in season 2, and honestly, I'm still reeling after that wild season of The Wild, so let's break it down. Just like in the first season where we meet each girl and we get to know more about her story, we're introduced to the guys that make up the Twilight of Adam. And their stories even feel like they parallel the girls and the things that they dealt with and the relationships that they currently have. We meet Florida besties Bo and Scotty. Bo is soft-spoken, a very loyal friend, but he's dealt with a lot in his life, and Scotty is a fast-talking entrepreneur. There's stepbrothers Henry and Seth, who could not be more different. Henry is a little bit emo, he likes to kind of retreat into his own world, and Seth is so charismatic, he feels like he's going to be a natural leader for this group. Ivan is an activist who can sometimes go a little bit too far, and Kieran is a jock with a short temper. Then there's Rolf, who has a hard time figuring out who he is, but finds himself drawn to people who have bigger personalities. And then Josh, who is a little bit of an awkward hypochondriac from a very wealthy family. Just like the girls, we see them work to find shelter, food, just working together despite opposing personalities. But when something goes down that causes a huge rift between the guys, it takes down the entire control group. And I gotta say, this whole situation just proves what a great actor Alex Fitzallen is, because we've seen him in things before, we know he plays a bad guy very often, but he tricked us in this one. I believed him, I thought we could trust him, I was like, he's gonna be this leader we can rely on, and ooh, was I wrong. Instead, he ends up being this disgusting sociopath who not only is a spy for the organization, but he abused his ex-girlfriend and he sexually assaults Josh. He's literally the worst. And I gotta say, I struggled with the guys keeping all of that a secret. I get they wanted to protect Josh and his wishes, and Kieran we really saw step up and be a really great support system for Josh, but it just felt terrible that Seth was able to get away scot-free with this, essentially. And I felt like while we could sympathize with the girls and a lot of the mistakes they made in the first season that led them to the island, with the guys, I was having a little bit more of a hard time empathizing with them. When they finally get off the island, the secret organization that set up these sketchy social experiments spends the whole season trying to figure out what went wrong with the guys. Ultimately, it doesn't matter though, because this rift works out in the favor of the hypothesis they have around these experiments to begin with, which is that women are better at leading society than men. Gretchen wanted to prove that male toxic behavior was going to be the guy's downfalls, and because of her own spy that poisoned the whole group, she was right. Meanwhile, the girls known as the Dawn of Eve struggle with the loss of Nora. You have Martha, who is having this inner turmoil because she's the hunter, she's the one providing food for the group, but she's also a vegetarian. That's a lot to deal with. And then you have Thatton and Shelby, who are starting to learn a little bit more about this island and why they're really there, and realizing that maybe Leah is not as off as it seems. And I gotta say, Leah has a very satisfying journey this season with the help from her hallucination of her former celebrity crush, Ben Folds. It's really empowering to see her take advantage of the misconceptions people have around her and prove them wrong. I love seeing her flip the switch on people who underestimated her, and it seems like they're setting up the stage for her to really be a strong leader going into a third season and be someone people can rely on. From how young men are raised, to toxic masculinity, to how the groups deal with the moral and ethical questions that come up on this island and the gray areas that surround them, this season went deep. I mean, when the stakes are life and death, how could they not? It just makes you question everything. Gretchen blames Seth's mother for the way he came out after abandoning him, but I mean, Gretchen, look at yourself. Look at the relationship you have with your own son. And what about her obvious biases in this experiment? She's like rooting for the guys to fail. Her own spy is the one that poisons this experiment. And when those issues with Seth arise, it's like, how are you supposed to manage that? We don't have a government here, so is this a zero tolerance policy? What if everyone doesn't agree? How do you enforce these laws? And with that in mind, this season sets up some wild places to go next in the story. Leah has bested Gretchen with the help of a friend on the outside, and now the FBI are after her. But Gretchen is not so easily thwarted. She shifts her plans, she destroys evidence, and a new experiment blossoms out of that, with now the Twilight of Adam and the Dawn of Eve trapped together on a whole new island. It's starting all over again, people! The evil Seth has been left in charge, but what about Nora? We know she's still alive. Is she still on this island? And are there other operatives planted in this group? Only time will tell. I'm hoping we get a chance to learn more about what this organization's plan really is, paralleled with them trying to get off this island. I mean, really, what is Gretchen's goal here? Let me know your thoughts on The Wild Season 2 and your theories on where the story could go next in the comments down below. Again, I'm Kristen Maldonado, and thanks for talking The Wild Season 2 with me. See ya!